Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit of your time, and we're going to talk about some stuff real quick, and then you guys are going to have time to work on your projects. Are your projects coming?
Working good. I just have to make my video.
It's coming.
Coming along. Okay, very good. So let's talk
What
about
you want in the video intro.
what?
That's the only thing I don't know. Like I need clarification on is what you want in the video intro.
And also, why do our faces have coming
So it makes it presentable.
Because that's way I can know that you did the work. That's why your faces have to be in it. Here was the question, so Sarah and Adrian hear it. Why do our faces have to be in the intro, and what?
You don't need it. No one's right.
I know, it's just habit, which is a good habit.
I don't
And
have that habit
what
yet.
was the other question? Why do our faces have to be in the intro?
Why,
And
what is the intro? Like what are we
oh,
saying?
what is the intro? So faces have to be in the intro, so I know you did the work. The other thing is the intro just needs to be, hey, my name's Emma. I'm from the Health Science 2 class. We're doing a project right now, and we are going to want to teach you about why it's important to wear a mask and wear a mask the right way.
Can I like
And then whatever it is, if you want to stand there and teach them, great, you can. If you want to show, or hey, we got this really cool video we thought you would enjoy that explains, you know, how to put on a mask the right way.
Can I literally do it in like my volleyball uniform after school today?
I feel like your volleyball uniform is probably not as appropriate as
Oh,
ours.
no,
I
no.
I forgot. Okay.
Or you could like wear a t-shirt and put an ECS jacket over it, that you know, like look like you're a school student. Cause you are.
Should I keep my mask on?
How about in the study?
If you're yeah, as long as you can articulate clearly and they can hear what you're saying.
Voluntarily
They don't
asking to
see
keep your mask on.
Well,
What's that?
I was like, why are you voluntarily asking to keep
Well,
your
they have to
mask on?
see our
Who's doing like 5th and 6th grade?
I don't know. That's why it's so hard. Is they don't appeal like color.
So here's what I would say, and I think it's really cool, even for you and Adrian Parker.
We already have the videos
that-
and all that. I just gotta
Oh,
take
you do.
it.
Okay, I was gonna say there's a video out there somewhere. There's probably more than one,
Oh.
and it's that slow-mo science video where it shows a sneeze, and it's like when it's got all these particles that go everywhere,
That's really
and then it shows a slow-mo sneeze with a mask on, and how like none of the particles go
You're
anywhere.
supposed to sneeze with mask on?
I take it off
You're
and then I
just
go,
sucking in your sneeze.
That's
That's
Oh.
disgusting.
Listen,
No.
my
Do
mom.
you take it down to
Yeah.
sneeze?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
My mom goes like this.
Oh.
She goes like this. She's like, I refuse to
Stop
sneeze
it.
with a mask because it gets all yucky. And I'm like, then what's the point? Take it off.
You shouldn't be sneezing in your mask.
I do,
Emma.
but it's gross.
Sneeze in your mask.
No, ew.
As well as this way.
Yeah,
That is the whole
I
point.
make sure I make sure it's right here so when I sneeze, it goes on.
Over your nose and your mouth. This is why you all are teaching this lesson, because there are folks who don't know it. Okay, so I don't want to take your time. I want you guys to be able to have time to work on your things. But here's what I want to talk about. What is quarantine?
Oh
Crap.
It's crap. Yeah, I've had it.
Isolation.
I've had it for about 28 days. Don't ask me how that went.
What does it mean?
Quarantine
You're
is
stuck in your mouth.
distancing yourself from others so you don't get sick or you don't get them sick. Even if
Who?
you're positive.
So who would have to quarantine?
Somebody who's
Someone
sick.
that had the virus.
Someone who's sick. If we're talking about COVID, it would be
Everyone
someone.
in America at the beginning stages.
Well,
if you're in phase 1,
Nobody
that
does
was called like the
Phase
lockdown. The
phase 1
lockdown.
people have to quarantine.
So who has to quarantine?
No? Okay.
Someone who has high risk symptoms of COVID,
High
right?
risk, high reward.
Someone who's high risk.
Someone who might be high risk. What about, we're talking about true quarantine, so that would be someone who's tested positive, right, and has
An old
symptoms.
person.
What about,
Immunocompromised.
yeah, but
Six-year-old.
yes, but
Yeah,
an
that is-
immunocompromised person, I'm talking about a true quarantine, so we're gonna use my family as an example,
Oh,
okay?
if you were within 15 or for 15
So
minutes
let's
without a
just
mask.
say my oldest son, Jackson, who goes to college, right?
Yes.
They call you first.
Let's just say Jackson is COVID positive. He tests COVID positive. He's not really COVID positive. Let's just say that he did.
Oh no,
So 1, 2, 3, 4. He lives at home with us. So there's me and my husband. I'll just call him Dad. And then there's Maddox. And then there's Dylan. Okay? So I work at the hospital.
You're the
sells spine implants. So like he goes into the OR with the doctors and helps them decide what size implant to use and all that stuff. And let's just say, I mean, he's an avid golfer, so he golfs a lot. So he goes to the golf course all the time. Maddox
So he's a country club member.
goes to school and he plays football.
I haven't seen Maddox this whole year.
You haven't seen him yet? He got really tall. And
Wait, is he
Dylan,
in the high school?
huh?
Is he in the high school?
8th grade.
What?
Yeah.
Why did I think he was
And
online then?
Dylan plays baseball. And he is online school, so he doesn't really see anybody at school, but then he works. He has a job.
What is
Okay.
work? Where does
He actually works for a realtor and just kind of does some kind of whatever.
Wow.
It's and bits here.
Okay,
So, if Jackson is positive, he has to stay home, right?
Yes.
Because he's positive and got symptoms. What about the rest of us?
You should quarantine for like 12 days.
All of you.
But if you don't find symptoms within the first 2 weeks, you should be fine.
So,
But-
yes, so
This is
Jackson,
just a hoax because
someone who's tested positive and has symptoms,
everybody.
has to quarantine for 10 days, right?
Oh,
From the
is this-
start of their symptoms.
Oh, then is it 6 days for people who've been in contact? or
From
something?
start of his symptoms. SX is symptoms, that's the abbreviation. So he has to quarantine for 10 days from the start of his symptoms. The rest of us are 14 days.
That's awful.
Oh, trust me, I've had it. It's awful.
Now here's the hard part. It's 14 days from our last exposure to Jackson. Well, wait a minute. We all live in the same house. How do you calculate that?
You get tested.
Well,
No.
I'm not getting no, I might. I don't, if I needed to, I would. What you have to do is the more you can distance from this person. So Jackson would have to go stay. Hopefully, well, he would. He wouldn't have a choice. He could go stay in the guest room that has a bathroom in it, and he would have to stay there and stay away from us as much as possible. And when he comes out, he would have to wear a mask, and we would have to clean everything and keep him away.
It's like when I had pink eye when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, well, probably a little bit. I will hope she didn't. I
I
hope
would
your
hope
mom
it
didn't
wasn't
quarantine you
this
like that. But
expensive,
man, that's
but
good.
sure.
You didn't pass it to anybody for sure.
No.
So what if I didn't? What if we didn't? What if we didn't quarantine?
You have COVID.
What would happen? How many
You
people
would
could we
just-
spread it to?
Millions.
Because look, not only am I spreading it at the hospital and at school, we're spreading it at the golf course and on the football field and on the baseball team and at work. So the goal is, if you're cutting out, this is the positive person, if you're cutting out, if you're cutting out this,
I think you just have to put one line through it because it's on
oh, I know, but I like
Okay.
this.
I'm sorry.
If you're cutting out all of this, so look, there's no spread, right? You're cutting out the spread, right? So it stops here. So that's the purpose.
Can I just get the video of you explaining social distancing to put in my presentation?
Of the that's the purpose of the quarantine. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I know when you're the one who's told you got to stay home for 14 days.
Oh, they told me 28. I stared them down and I said no.
you that?
28.
My doctor.
How are you going to
Because I got
That's a
tested
lot of
positive.
doctors.
Right.
Yes, they do.
Oh, well, trust me.
Hang on.
I
This
compare.
got a question. Hang on.
Tested positive.
Hang on.
So loud.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, but like, what about people that are asymptomatic? How are you gonna?
That's a challenge.
You can't.
So that's where that
You can't
contact
fix it.
tracing comes in. Who knows what contact tracing is?
You have to
Where
go
have you
back
been
to
in the
like,
last like 15
yeah, like
days?
see.
How do they contact trace?
Through your phones now.
No.
Well, yeah, they can't. Well, they don't. Like, they ask you permission, and then they'll say.
just go
Yeah.
with CDC goes through.
So I have this friend who got it, right? And she was like, you know, like didn't even realize that she had it, and like her boyfriend and her hung out and stuff, and then like, you know, we're doing girlfriend and boyfriend things, and then like she found out that she had it, and then like the boyfriend went and got like tested for the antibodies, and he didn't have any, and like he had never been exposed to it or whatever, but he had been.
Well, but the antibody test isn't super accurate.
Really
So number one, antibody test isn't super accurate.
Okay.
There's 3 tests that are out there right now. One is the antibody test, and that's just telling you that at some point along the course, you've been exposed to COVID. But I'm pretty sure, and I've heard from multiple sources that they think there's some overlap with some of the other coronavirus DNA, so it's not super selective for just COVID-19. It could be that you have maybe been exposed down the road to one of the other coronaviruses, which there's like 6 other ones, and they all are just cold symptom type responses. Mr. Jones's room. Hey.
High key recommend
Okay.
Paw Patrol gummies to everyone who likes.
Do you have the other one there?
Just wanted you to know that. Or
Mine?
kind of know, but I just thought.
Okay. Mine can probably go back. Oh,
And let me stop on, please. I'm trying to listen.
Hey, why do you curb stop you to the ground?
Wait, who?
You, who cares?
well, let's make that sound good. Did you call mom and say? Yeah.
Oh, what's going on?
That phrase is concise.
Yep.
For sure, and then I will
Means you have to balance out.
email her, she can call me the question, and then, yeah.
Yo, why don't you just do
So, what do you
No.
Oh, well, Trey,
With the KG tape?
Okay, I got my phone in the mask.
She left me. Yeah, she had to go early. I think I'm around like 6, so like
yeah,
Oh, were you the only one who said?
okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, where was I?
I don't know.
The tests. There's 3 tests.
An all clear has been
Great.
announced.
They were running the hours, you know, they're
Last
just touched,
activity.
and I was like, at this point,
So we talked about the antibody test. That's just a
Activities. Thank you.
That's just a prick on the finger, and it tells you if you at some point have developed antibodies. There's the antigen test, and that's a swab. The antigen test is like what you hear them call the rapid test. You can get the results back in 20 minutes, and it looks for the antigens on the DNA of the virus. Okay, that one is more sensitive than the antibody test. But the highest level test is called a PCR, a molecular assay PCR test, and that's also the swab. And that's the swab that goes, they all say that like feels like they're touching your brain swab.
I realized
I got
that
six
I've
times
had
more
that
work.
done before for the flu.
Yes, it's similar to the flu swab,
Like,
yes.
whenever I would go into like to the walk-in, they're like,
Ain't
okay, we're
nobody
gonna do
sticking
this on your nose,
anything
and
up
they
my
stick
nose.
it up.
Oh, no,
And I'm like, if I
and
wanna
then
get a
you'll
COVID
probably
test, it
want to
wouldn't,
see
cause I've had it done so many times for the flu.
Yeah.
Like they do it like so
They,
far back.
yeah, and depend, and there's a lot of reasons why you could get a positive or a false negative or a false, you know, there's not a lot of there are some false positives. Here's the deal, it's,
I was false positive in like 6 tests. So.
you were false positive? Well, maybe you were just positive asymptomatic.
You had 6 tests done, Parker?
Yeah, I
And you
had
were,
6.
were you
When was
positive?
this?
Why
All
did
of them
you take-
positive?
Were you all
How
of them?
recent?
No,
Oh,
None of them were positive?
summer.
okay.
All through summer. I
Summer
got
was a
stuff.
week ago.
Yeah. I got 6.
Why are you here?
So,
Who
he's
gave you
fine,
6
he's,
tests?
no, so,
That seems
the
like
highest,
excessive amount.
the most indicative is the PCR test, which is the one that takes a little bit longer to come back, the 24 to 48 hours. Because that is looking for the RNA, okay, of the virus, which
Well, what's the
the
point of doing that? when
virus
you-
is an RNA virus.
So what's the point of doing that? Is that for like people who are in like bigger work areas, like where it's like really serious if they have to get taken out of like work? and
Well, and you
quarantined,
want to
or-
know, like, there's a lot of people. I mean, like here for our school, like if I had to send you home because you had you had fever and a cough and you were short of breath, guess what? Even
I'm
if
not
you
ashamed.
chose not to get tested, you're out for 10 days
Really?
based on our school policy because there's so many false negatives. And you're still going to transmit whatever virus you have, whether it's the flu or COVID or RSV or, you know, some other
But if
respiratory
I
virus.
get it, my entire like sports team gets shut down.
If you're positive, yeah.
That's
So that's the reason a lot of people
But what I'm
will
saying is-
get tested.
But my question is, yeah, if I'm positive, but if I were to just get sent home for something like that, I quarantine 10 days anyways. I'm not gonna go get tested.
Like,
You don't, and there's nothing that says you have
So
to.
then is our sports team still good?
So then there's nothing that says you have to.
So then is our sports team fine because I never tested positive?
As long as you, and that's the key, as long as you pull yourself out or you are away from other people,
Yeah.
as soon as you start feeling bad. That's why it's so important, and that's why I'm asking parents and you guys, if you're sick, stay home. If you're sick, stay home. If you're sick, stay
There was
home.
literally someone growing up at practice yesterday.
There
There was someone throwing up in practice
Yeah, no,
yesterday,
there's two
didn't feel
people I
well,
had.
short of breath, and it freaked me out. But it could be for a lot of reasons. She's always sick. But like seriously, like she's coming again today.
Sick people don't need to be here. That's all I have
know.
to say. Sick people do not
That's
need to
why
be here.
she-
Ms. Wolf.
I have my hand up first. Who's sick and coming in here?
She's in volleyball practice, not school.
Who? That doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Really? That's the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
Sick. Why?
Like, she was like throwing up, and like felt like she was short of breath, and I was like, ugh.
Sick people do not need to be here.
Why?
Your coach needs to say if you're sick, you need to leave.
Get a vacation, get a vacation.
Snitch. Especially on this particular.
I can talk to my
Did
coach.
you ask
but-
your, do you have a question?
Oh, I was gonna say, can't like anything be a symptom at this point?
Yes, and that's what's so hard. That's why it's going to be really difficult, especially when cold and flu season comes. Because all of those are symptoms.
I woke up with a sore throat this morning. Does that mean I have COVID, or does that mean I just slept with my mouth open last night?
Right, right,
No, you don't.
right. And that's what's going to be difficult to ascertain in a lot of situations. Yes, sir.
You know what happened with the football team during the summer? It's like we had I think a 2-week break because of COVID or something. I don't know.
Everyone was
Yeah, well, and the idea is, just like I had showed in the picture, if you break that chain, you're gonna continue, you're gonna keep the spread contained, and
So
that's the
question.
whole idea, yeah.
Like this is like a legit thing. So at practice today, if she shows up, like what's the best thing for me to do to make sure that like
6 feet apart.
I mean yeah, obviously,
But
but
you
like
can't be, can you? All the time?
I mean I can be, I just like don't go near her, but like what do I like what should I do about that? Like obviously the coaches saw her sick,
If there's a sick person on your team or in your class, that person doesn't need to be here.
but like so like Miss Everhart like helped her, but it could have just been a stomach ache and I'm sure they already assessed
Well, and
it.
like, right, and if
Like,
Mrs.
I trust
Everhart
them,
is here and
but-
she's
What?
allowed her to stay, and she's talked to her, and she's assessed the situation, then that's fine.
Are they gonna make us stand like apart at like soccer practice?
No.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
we're
you can
not-
only
we're
do
not
so
close
much
enough.
if you're talking about social
We're not
distancing.
close
Okay.
enough together for a long enough period of time to like do it.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys some time to work. What, is there any questions pertaining to your project that I need to answer before I turn this video off in case somebody else has a question too? Parker.
If we have videos, where do we send them to?
You're gonna email your completed videos or PowerPoint or whatever it is to me.
No, they're separate. Like we have YouTube videos and we have
Put
videos.
them all together.
You gotta put them together and email me the presentation.
Question?
Answer.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Coloring pages? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, how? Do we like send them a link?
You can just send it to me, like send me the PDF and I'll print them out, or I'll send it as a PDF to the teacher, and if they wanna use it, they can use it. And here's the deal, you're creating it. That's your job to create it. If you send it to the teacher and they don't wanna use all of the pieces of it, that's okay.
No
So
problem.
you're still gonna get credit for doing all of your pieces of it.
So
Make
can
sense?
I do a coloring page even for 5th and 6th graders?
Yeah.
No, but you could do something else.
I don't know what 5th and 6th graders like.
You don't remember being a 5th and 6th grader?
No, because I like coloring pages as 5th and
So send a coloring page and then think about, well, you have other people in your group, put your heads together. It's not just you.
Oh my gosh, please.
Okay,
tell
any
me
other
my phone was
questions?
saved.
Hey Macy.
No.
Oh my gosh.